The last statement made by Sejal that I'm becoming more me, right? Yes, that's so profound. And these sessions, I would say, the credit goes to these that, yes, I am evolving, I'm transforming, I am on the path of becoming the best version of myself. And as we say, you know, to begin is difficult or is motivation, right? But once you get going, the way just that it creates itself, you find the way. And as my mentor once said, that version one is better than version none. So it's better to take action. And if we imagine, scrolling through Instagram, seeing your friends' perfectly curated life, new job, their workout selfies, their fancy vacation, and that familiar pang hits that I should be doing more, right? I should do better. I'm sure many of you go through the same emotion when you see your friend's Instagram profile. And here's what I want you to remember today: you are not a finished book. You are still writing the next great chapter. And I'm sure all of us are here in these sessions just for that each one of us is writing their next great chapter. And unlike those Instagram stories that disappear in 24 hours, your story keeps getting richer, more complex, but more beautiful with every page you turn. And we have been conditioned to think that becoming our best self is like reaching the top floor of a building, a final destination where we'll finally have it all figured out. But here's the truth: personal growth is a lifelong process. It's like learning to cook your mother's recipes. You might master one dish, but then there's always another flavor to explore, another technique to perfect. I know a software engineer from Pune who spent years thinking he would become his best self once he got that promotion to team lead. And he got it, celebrated for a week, and then thought, now what? The promotion didn't transform him into some superhuman version of himself. And he was still the same person, forgot to call his grandmom, and still struggled with morning workouts. And that's when it hit him that the best version of yourself is not a destination, it's a direction. It's not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more of who you already are, minus the parts that don't serve you. Yes. Think about like we are updating our phone software. iOS 17 isn't trying to become Android. It's becoming a better, more refined version of itself. That's what updation is all about. You become better version than the previous version. So similarly, your best self isn't trying to be someone else's highlight reel. It's about optimizing your own operating system. So being your best self means aligning your actions with your values, not even with your parents' values, not society's expectations, but what genuinely matters to you. So, your values are like your internal GPS, constantly recalculating the best route to who you want to become. So, now that doesn't mean being selfish or rebellious. It means having those difficult conversations, setting boundaries with love, and sometimes disappointing people in the short run to honor your long term happiness. Your values might be family, creativity, adventure, service, or learning. But when your daily actions align with these core values, you don't just feel successful, you feel authentic. And let me tell you, authenticity is magnetic. It draws the right opportunities and people in your life. And that's why we always say, na, our vibe attracts our tribe. And ask yourself, when do you feel most like yourself? So those moments are actually clues to your values. And there's something that Instagram won't tell you. Yourself or your best self is not about perfection. It's about progress and presence, being there. It's not about becoming flawless. It's about becoming aware. I know a teacher from Delhi who used to beat himself up for losing his temper with students. He thought his best self would never get angry. But his actually best self learned to recognize his triggers, take a deep breath, and respond rather than react. The anger didn't disappear. His awareness of it transformed how he handled it. So, the best version of you isn't someone who never makes mistakes. It's someone who owns their mistakes, learns from them, and uses them as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Let me tell you, when we have mentors, what they say, because they are our mentors are experienced people, they have gone that path long back. And we can definitely say, instead of, see, making mistakes, nothing wrong with that. But if we get the opportunity to learn from others' mistakes, then also it's wonderful. Why not do that? Why do we need to make mistakes ourselves only? And if we can get the opportunity to learn from our mentors' mistakes, that's even beautiful, right? So it's someone who says, I'm sorry without adding, but you also. So it's someone who celebrates small wins instead of waiting for major victories. So your best self is present in mundane moments, patient in traffic jams, kind to the delivery person, curious about your colleagues' weekend plans. So these micro moments matter more than the grand gestures we see in movies. Remember, even Sachin Tendulkar had off days at the crease. His greatness wasn't in perfect timings, it was in showing up consistently, learning from every game, and respecting the process. So, your best self evolves every day, which means staying curious, compassionate, and committed. Curious about what you can learn, compassionate with your growth process, and committed to showing up even when motivation fades. At 16, your best self might be brave enough to speak up in class. At 25, it might be starting that business. At 35, it might be being present for your children. At 45, it might be pursuing that hobby you always postpone. So each phase requires a different version of your greatness. And at our age, we are still learning. So we can proudly say we are lifelong learners. So, the teenager worried about fitting in grows into the adult who celebrates standing out. The young adult chasing external validation evolves into someone who finds contentment from within. Now, this isn't inconsistency, it's actually growth. So stay curious. Who can today teach me? Stay compassionate. I'm doing my best with what I know right now. Stay committed. I'll show up tomorrow, even if today wasn't perfect. So, starting tomorrow, I want you to begin each day with a simple but powerful question. And what is that? That what would the best version of me do today? I'm not talking about the perfect version, not the Instagram worthy version, but the authentic, values driven, growth minded version of you. And then write down three qualities you want to live out today. Maybe it's patience during your commute, focus during work, or kindness in your conversations. Now, these aren't personality overhauls, now, they are intentional choices. And then consciously embody them through your actions. So, when you're stuck in Bengaluru traffic, remember patience. When your project gets challenging, you have to remember focus. And your siblings annoy you, remember kindness. So, what's beautiful about books? Every chapter builds on the previous one, but each can also stand alone as a complete story. So, life is the same. Every day is both part of a larger narrative and a complete story in itself. You don't need to wait for Monday, next month, or next year to become your best self. Neither need New Year resolutions to be the best version. That version of you isn't hiding somewhere in the future. It's available right now, in this moment, with the next choice you make. So, your best self isn't a destination you'll reach someday, it's a way of traveling through today. So, ask yourself, what would the best version of me do right now? Then do that. And tomorrow, ask again. Because becoming your best self isn't about writing the perfect story, it's about writing it with intention, authenticity, and love. So, I would say your next great chapter starts now. So, let's see what you'll write about it. So, with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.